Well, first of all, you've got a Chinese economy which is still in contraction. It contracted in the first quarter 6.8%, according to official numbers. Probably this quarter, in reality, I don't know what they'll report, but in reality, it is probably just the deepest contraction, maybe even more. You also got an unhappy Chinese populace because they don't know what a downturn is. And then you have Xi Jinping's policies, which have been producing bad results for China in 2019. That means Xi Jinping has really very few other people to blame because he's got close to total power. And that means that he is responsible. So he needs a victory. And what he sees with regard to India is a possibility of grabbing territory from India and therefore declaring that to be a win for China. Well, China knows that population is the source of power. The Chinese talk about this all the time. And for them, being the most populous nation is important. It shows their strength. They also know in Beijing and maybe even elsewhere that the Chinese population is slated to decrease substantially during this century. And also they know that India is going to become the world's most populous state. It very well be on the verge of that. It could also be true right now because China's population numbers tend to be a little bit squishy. That is going to be psychologically very difficult for Chinese leaders and the Chinese people to accept. So they see that the Indian economy is growing smartly. They see the Indian population vastly outnumbering China's. And I think that they're really worried about the strength of India going forward. That's why I believe that deep down, they are trying to dismember India at this time because they think that they've got the advantage now and they've got a closing window of opportunity. Remember, for the Chinese people, population is power, and India is going to have the power this century. China will not. It's also they can see their economy has reached a high point. Their environment is exhausted. Chinese people are upset. They see restiveness around the world and in their own country. And they also see that the rest of the world is not in a mood to help China because you've got a global economy that will be in a downturn this year. China is still export dependent. And they see factories leaving China for India. So that's why they're trying to intimidate you now, because they believe that they can do so now. They may not be able to do that in 3 or 4 years. And certainly they won't be able to do that in a decade.